serious Pentecostal, and I believe I'm speaking to the body of Christ. And I come from a serious Pentecostal heritage, and I speak with all boldness from that heritage, because whoever you are, somehow you came from this heritage. So listen carefully. Archbishop Benson in Ahosa 201. You cannot improve on redemption. You can't add to what Jesus has done. What Jesus did on the cross is sufficient for God and sufficient for us. God needs no other sacrifice, and there's nothing we have to add to what Jesus has done. So when we say Jesus plus nothing, we're saying nothing can be added to the sufficiency of Christ's work. Is somebody hearing what I'm saying? So notice something. The people in Acts 15, they believed, but did not believe in the sufficiency of Christ's work for salvation. And that looks like many people today. They believe in Jesus. They know the language. They know how to sing and dance the dance. But what do you really believe? So Simon also believed, but he didn't believe in the sufficiency of what Jesus did, and was offering money to buy the gift of God. Today they call it seed. Dangerous seed. I'm not against giving. We give. But listen carefully. We don't transact with our giving. You cannot buy the gift of God. Salvation is a gift from God. So how can Simon believe, yet he's exchanging money for the gift of God? Theologians have given it a name today. They call it simony. Simon. When people want to exchange anything for the gift of God. So sometimes it's not money they are demanding. Sometimes they want you to use your fasting to transact with God. Some of you did 100 days last year, 100 days this year, and you're not fasting for the expansion of God's kingdom. You're fasting for things that are gifts. Hold on.
Thank you, my daddy in the Lord. That is what we've been saying. But somehow, tithe mongers won't accept it, or greedy men of God won't accept it. Men of God like Pastor David Ebiome won't accept it, because this whole teaching go against his whole being. All he care about is collecting from the people. And whenever someone said something that was against the collecting of resources from the people, that will make him very, very angry. You know, this whole prosperity thing, like I have kept on saying, has not benefited the common masses. It hasn't. It has only been a way for some men of God to become so rich. So rich. It hasn't really benefited the masses, because you carry your hard-earned money and give it to them. They invest this money into other businesses, and they made so much profit from it, and they become so financially successful. And you are left there with nothing. Totally nothing. And you see them, the men of God, some of them, you see them just gladly saying to their members, do not worry, God is in control. And why they say all this, they ask you to give them tithe donations, seed sowing, whatever. They ask you for all that. And they tell you God is in control, that God will provide all your needs according to his riches in glory in the Lord. They tell you all that while at the same time collecting from you. And now the question now becomes, if God could do all these things that those men are mentioning, why are they collecting your hard-earned money? Why are they not asking God to provide for them? That is a question. That is the question. If you believe that God can provide everything for you, then I believe God can also put money in your bank account, and you can use that money to do whatever you want to do. But you see, there is no such a thing as prosperity gospel. God will not do for men what men must do for themselves. God himself did not create a bank note. He did not. He did not create it. Men created banknote. Governments that are made up of people created banknotes. The legal tender is not created by God. God does not need it. God does not want it. God has no need for your legal tender. But the men of God need it like a lot, because they want to keep on buying their private jets, building their mansions, increasing their wealth, making sure that they can live so much for their children and their children's children. That is it. And they will do that at your own expense. They will do it at your own expense. Why you sit there believing that somehow God will change your fate, somehow God will change your fortune, somehow God will adjust your destiny. They, the men of God, are working real hard. They are doing all what it takes to convince you into believing in them, into giving your money to them, and into making themselves rich. They are being so pragmatic. They are doing what need to be done. Why you sit there just hoping and praying that things somehow magically change for the best? Your daddy, your mommy are busy acquiring real estate. They are buying lands, they are building houses, they are building shopping centers, they are investing in other businesses that will generate a lot of income for them in the nearest future. That's what they are doing. Why they tell you to fast and pray and seek the faith of God and steadfast in the Lord and be hopeful that everything settles themselves. They are not doing just that. They are not. Pastor Chris is busy writing books and handouts that he sells. Jeremiah Omoto is busy coming up with all kinds of crazy merchandise that he sells to his members and generates a lot of money. Apostle Michael Owoko is busy coming up with all kinds of scare tactics to make sure that his followers do not sway away from his teachings. He is doing what it takes to keep the followers under his shackles. Listen, my brothers and sisters, you also have got to be very, very pragmatic. You have got to see what you need and go do it. You have got to figure this out by now, that giving is good, giving is godly, giving is welcoming, giving is one of those things that all of us must do. But that alone won't change your fortune. That alone won't change your future. That alone won't put money in your bank account. It won't. It has never done it, and you would be no exception. No exception.